And all right back like we left something. You already know what it is. Welcome to Plunked. This is the show where we celebrate two teams, one phenomenal city, that city being Chicago, Illinois. I'm your host, Emilio Bucks, rolling solo this evening. My partner in crime, Kristen Petit, is she's competing for the bowling championship right now. She's got a hot hand. She's got the high average. She's got the squad, so she's got to see it through. But she'll be back next week to give you more of that good Cubs insider information. Okay. I'm not happy. I'm not happy. I'm not happy. So, I know what everybody's going to say. Oh, no, don't panic. It's only the second, week of the season. But how often do we panic and we end up being right for panicking? I would say at least half of the time, the panic is deserved. And I think this panic is deserved. We are seeing some abysmal, historically bad baseball right now from a team who is picked by many experts to win the World Series. I don't know. Now, don't get me wrong. There is a difference between playing bad baseball and being a bad baseball team. I get that. I really do get that. This is not a bad baseball team, but they're playing like shit. I got no censor button here tonight. I'm all in my feelings as a fan, as a fanatic, and I'm just gonna let it fly. You know what I mean? I'm in my feelings about this right now because after starting out, you know, expectedly, atop of the AL Central, these guys went on the road and and just been playing abysmal baseball. It did not look like they're ready to play. No preparation, no sense of urgency. I know it's early. So somebody just mentioned it's too early. Yeah, okay, that's fine. These injuries do suck. But it's part of baseball. It's part of sports. Everybody deals with injuries, and but injuries, that's not responsible for 7 L's in a row, 7 losses in a row, including 2 sweeps by by 2 interdivision teams. I mean, yeah, I gotta let it out. I gotta let it out, Dad. I'm drinking tonight. I'm upset. I'm upset. 7 in a row. Another big one. 21 errors over those last 7 games. 21 errors. It's like they lined up a bunch of, what was it, fucking Roger Dorns out there in the infield. Corbin Burnson from Major League didn't want to field balls properly. Anyway, that's unexcusable. That's just a lack of preparation. These guys need to. Don't tell me shortened spring training is responsible for this. Like, no, it's a lack of effort, a lack of urgency. I mean, these guys got to understand they are the hunted. They have won the AL Central 2 years in a row now. They are the hunted. Teams, especially in the AL Central, are going to step up to play these White Sox extra hard. That's right, JB. Don't give me any of this Olay crap. That's right. Poor decision making. Oh, just, just. I love my plunksters out there. They're backing me up. All love and it's appreciated. You know, seriously, we don't have a major league coach. I mean, he is a major league coach, but he's an old major league coach that might be a little too lax with this still very young, very inexperienced ball club. You know, these aren't a bunch of vets that, you know, Tony needs to just, oh, I could be hands off. No. This is still a very young team who is still going to occasionally need to be pushed. The old man's got to put some pressure on these young guys. Because if not, then we need to get somebody in here who's going to make that happen. This team hitting 214 as a team. 214, all of that bat on this team. And you all are hitting 214, and that's 214 for the season, well under 200 during this seven-game losing streak. Let's take a look at this bull that I was watching today. I'm wasting, you know, I have a house and a wife and kids, and I'm watching these games and I'm cursing and my pressure's going up. You know, this is the same thing I saw my old man do as a kid, cursing at the TV, watching these White Sox at one point with the same manager. And here I am doing the same thing, pulling my children into this madness. All right, today in Minnesota, trying to salvage something here, not happening. Look at some highlights here. Lowlights, if you will. Some jabroni, Chris Archer, you know, he comes in. TA, I got nothing bad to say about Tim Anderson. He's doing his job. First pitch, yak. Takes him deep. That's White Sox baseball. You know, that's TA. Usually as TA goes, as this club goes, but not so much this year. Not so much. TA hitting 313, 327 with a OPS of 847, but good news is Giolito's back. We got Gio back on the bump, and he's dealing. He's dealing. I mean, what can I say? 4 strong innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned, 3 walks, 9 strikeouts. That's what you want to see from your ace coming back off the IL. That's what you want to see. And that's what you got. Besides from a terrible 11-run fiasco by Dallas Keuchel, which is damn near expected at this point. Velasquez got beat up a little bit yesterday, but overall, this pitching staff, the starting pitching staff, has been solid. Gio's dealing. Like Kenny Rogers, the gambler, he's dealing. With another wasted day. Andrew Vaughn. Why is he not playing every day? Why is Andrew Vaughn not playing every day? Why? Tony? Can somebody answer me? I mean, Tony La Russa made news last week. We'll get to that in a minute. And as we see, Lucas Giolito gives up the earned run slight damage done. Nothing this team should not be able to come back from. That's what you want from your starter. Giolito with only 4 innings pitched, not eligible for a decision. But as you see, he had his stuff going. Movement, location, everything was there. He had it going. What can I say? I got no beef with the pitcher. I got beef with one pitcher. And we'll talk about that one pitcher. Because we'll see that pitcher. Buxton, this dude, Byron Buxton, was murdering us this whole series, except for when he faced Giolito. Danny Mendick put something on the board. Definitely should be playing a lot more than Leury Garcia. Why is Mendick barely playing? And you had Garcia in the 3-hole 2 games, and in the 2, another game. We'll get to that later. Tony, some good fielding there by the Twins. And when you're a struggling team, you need effort. And right now, the Sox team not hitting. They need more effort on defense. 2 error, one error today. 1 last night. Again, 21 errors. 21 errors over the last 7 games. And so when I see teams that are supposed to be less than us making good plays, that bothers me. And who is that? Buxton. Aaron Bummer. Say hello to Byron Buxton. And he's hype. He's hype. He knows what beating the Sox means to this Minnesota organization. Beating the Sox more than anybody. He knows what that means to this organization. Some good fielding here by Kendall Graveman. Can't say enough good things about Kendall Graveman. Got him in free agency from Houston. Had a chance to see a bit of Kendall Graveman in the playoffs last year, and he dealt us dirty. So it's nice to see him dealing for us. Hendricks comes in, puts him away in the 9th. 3 outs. I appreciate that. Yasmani Grandal with a deep single that drives in what could have been the winning run. But the guy that's been killing you the whole time, Buxton, why are you pitching to him now? Why would you pitch to him? And look at him. He just keeps killing us all weekend. He's killing us. Who said pitch to him? Tony. What the hell is going on? I don't want to get into just pointing fingers and, I think at this time last year we were questioning Tony, questioning the old man again, thinking, he didn't have his faculties, but here we are again. And now here's something interesting. A year ago, this team was only 6-8. We're 6-9 now. Last year we were 6-8 around this time. But this just feels so much worse. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't feel terrible last year when they were at 6-8. But this 6-9 just feels really bad. And then when you add in the injuries to Eloy, that one just hurt. I mean, you could feel for the guy. Reportedly was just in tears in the training room afterwards. I mean, what I don't know. Strength and fitness coordinator Who's that? Who is that? Somebody needs to be held accountable for these guys and their inability. So thus far in this short season, our entire starting outfield has been on the IL just trying to run out a ground ball. Luis Robert just went on uh, running out a ground ball, right? Uh, we saw what happened to Eloy yesterday. He right now they're saying 6 to 8 weeks, but I don't think he's had the MRI yet. So I wouldn't hold your breath on the 6 to 8 weeks. And then we saw AJ Pollock in the first series come up gimpy, rounded first. You know, just on a single. That maybe the 6-9 feels worse this year due to higher expectations after last year. I would say, yeah, maybe in part, but I'm not usually one to get too caught up in like the expectation. I always feel like that's like fool's gold when it's like, oh yeah, they're the expectation. You know, like I'm always like cautiously, very cautiously optimistic. But when they were 6-9, 6-8 last year, they didn't look bad. You know what I mean? Just not having Eloy, you kind of felt like, okay, uh, you know, they just didn't look this bad. And this 6-9 team, after starting out playing well for a week and then to go on the road and to drop seven straight and six of those be against your divisional rivals. I think that's what makes it feel so much worse, Dad, is that it was Cleveland. And then it is Minnesota, whom every real Sox fan just despises, the Piranhas, as Ozzy calls them. And Ozzy started calling them the Guppies last year. But then, should we go get Ozzy back or kick the tires on Joey Cora? I don't think anything like that's going to happen this season. You know, we had Ozzy Guillen Jr. on the show a couple weeks ago, and I asked him straight up, like, if they ask your old man to come back, would he? He said, man, he would manage his team for free. I mean, yeah, I do think a voice like Joey Cora or Ozzy Guillen would ring louder with this young core right now. And what they need and kind of the motivation that they need and they need that straight up Ozzie again as he says like, hey, I just ask my guys to be honest with me. Are you gonna play hard? Because if not, just that's fine. Just let me know, and that way I can sit your ass. Because we're trying to win games. Just be straight up. You know, like we need somebody to just cut the crap, and you know, just when you go on a losing streak, when you're not hitting, everything counts so much, like defense and decision making, and the fact that we're seeing them not hit. We know, okay, they're not hitting right now. They're gonna hit. They're gonna hit. But when you see the decision making being poor, still not hitting the right cutoff man. Tim still not setting his feet properly before making a tough throw to first, and knowing when to just say, "Hey, this is a tough throw. Let me just hold on to the ball." You know, those decisions like that is very concerning when we're not seeing those. All right, I'm going to take a break and regroup. This is Plunk. Be back in 30 seconds. All right, right back in it. So let's rewind a little bit as to when this losing streak started. It started with a couple of rain delays. Well, that turned into postponements. That turned into a doubleheader in Cleveland, in which Dallas Keuchel came in and gave up 11 runs. Now, we saw Keuchel have a strong outing in that first week. Like, and I was just kind of hoping, okay, maybe he's turning it around a little bit. But to see like a historically bad outing like that in Cleveland, after having seemingly an extra day to prepare, and I heard some people mentioning, oh, maybe the postponement or the days off hurt them. Well, it didn't hurt Cleveland. They had the same days off, swept your ass. So I'm not buying a rain out and a couple of extra days off, causing you to lose momentum like this. Sox dropped that first game in Cleveland, the first of a doubleheader actually, 11-1, in which there were 4 errors committed, 4 errors to Cleveland's 0 errors. Now Cleveland, they don't have much of a team. They got good pitching. Cleveland always has good pitching, but they don't have much in the way of hitting. I mean, realistically, they got Jose Ramirez. If you can just pitch around him a little bit, you should be good. But 11 runs, that looked like they were firing on all cylinders, or they were firing Keuchel's ass on all cylinders, I should say. And then we went to game 2. Sox dropped that one 2-1. Young Lambert threw 3 2/3, 2 earned, 5 strikeouts. Should have been enough. Should have been enough to win. With this White Sox team giving up 2 runs, you should still be able to win that game. But scoring 1 run, that ain't gonna cut it. And then we go to game 3. Dylan Cease pitched tonight. Didn't have his greatest stuff. Didn't have his best stuff. But he went 5 1/3, 4 earned, 3 strikeouts with a couple of walks. But Sox with 2 more errors. Those errors, man, like that's this is why in baseball an error is kept as an official stat. It's like one of the main stats in the box score because they are so costly. Like it's not as bad as necessarily one turnover in basketball. A crucial turnover, it's like an error is like each error can be like a crucial turnover in the fourth quarter. That's how big an error can be in baseball, the magnitude of an error in baseball. Sox dropped that one 6-3. Get their asses swept out of Cleveland. I mean, again, inside the division, these are the teams that the Sox ate off of last year. Went 13-6 against Minnesota last season. Feasted off of them. And then come in and drop these 3 straight. It's just very, again, very bad baseball play. This is not me calling this team a bad team. This is not a bad team, but they are playing very bad baseball. Scored a total in that Cleveland series. Cleveland scored 19 runs. Now that's a bit lopsided over the 3 games because of that 11 run outing, but I mean it is what it is. 19 runs to the Sox, 5 runs, 7 errors in that series. That's just unacceptable. After that 2 days, they just look really unready to play. And then Tony making early season news headlines again by putting Leury Garcia number 3 in the batting order. Now Leury Garcia is hitting he's hitting I think .098 or something like that right now. At the time, it was less than that going into the Cleveland series. I'm not sure you had a hit going into the Cleveland series. And then he bats him third 2 days in a row. He does it once and then doubles down, does it again, triples down on the first game in Minnesota and bats him in the 2-hole. Even when Leury Garcia is playing his best baseball, he is not a 3 or a 2-hitter on this White Sox team. So I don't know what the thinking is behind there. Maybe it was just a matter of him trying to get some confidence behind Leury. I like Leury, but not right now. Because right now he's terrible, and I'd rather not see him on the field. Especially when, Mendick is serviceable, and he's hitting better than Leury, so you got to give him that look, in my opinion. And Josh Harrison can't seem to stay on the field. Cannot seem to stay on the field. Already, he's been out. He's been out twice already. Skip ahead to that first game in Minnesota. The man who's been quiet, but he's been quietly killing this year is young Michael Kopech. In that first game against Minnesota, Kopech threw 5 strong, 3 hits, 0 earned, 0 runs period, 1 walk and 7 strikeouts. Has a measly .64 ERA. Like when you look at that stat line on that picture, you're like, oh, Kopech was dealing? Of course we won. Nope. Lost 2-1 late in the game on a throwing error. One of 2. I think they might have even given us 2 errors on the same play. Tim's errant throw to first to Abreu, and then Abreu's bad throw to home. And who ends up on second? Alex freaking Correa. Oh, man, talk about a punchable face right there, that whole Houston team, man. I would have liked to have Correa on our team, but he's not, so I want to punch his face. Whatever. Going into game 2, we have Velasquez on the bump. You ever seen a pitcher look like he just give up during the game? Was like, hey, look, I got out of the last inning. I told you, don't put me back in, coach. And Tony put him back in, and he left everything hanging. Like, no movement on anything in that last inning that he came in. And at this point, the Sox have scored only 18 runs over the last 9 games. If you'd have told me that this Sox team over a 9-game span would only score 18 runs, like I would have just called you a lying MF. There's no way I would have bought into that. Or maybe I should. Maybe I should have believed it. I don't know. And again, one of the only guys coming to play every day, except that he doesn't get to play every day, is Andrew Vaughn. Like, I don't know what it's gonna take for Tony to trust this guy to make him. That's your everyday right fielder. And and I understand now that's going to open up now with Eloy being out, so you're going to see more of him by default. But this seems like you shouldn't have taken that to keep that bat in the lineup every day, starting every day. It shouldn't have taken that. So I'm I'm heated. I'm a little disgusted, as you could tell. Yes, it's early. Yes, there's plenty of time to right the ship. But I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't like this laid back, lazy baseball that I'm seeing. And I'm not liking all of the mumbling that I'm hearing from Tony in these press conferences. Yeah, well, three outs, the man go home. Like what? Speak up, man. Like I'm not saying you got to be loud. I'm not saying you got to be loud to lead men, but sometimes you got to be loud, and especially with young guys. And I don't know. I'm concerned, and I will be concerned about giving Tony too much time to try to right this ship. Um, you can't have him losing this club. It's still early. It's still early. Yada yada. All right. This is Plunk, Emilio Bucks. Let's take 30 seconds. All right. And we're back. Let's take a look at some Cubs highlights from today's game and the friendly confines. Young Justin Steele taking the bump today for the Cubbies on the north side. Young man looked good in the first inning. I'll give him that. Looked good. He was dealing for a second. Ortega takes it deep off the wall first, runs into goes into second, standing up. Wilson Contreras gets the benefit of a funky hop there, and that's Ortega that's able to score. Cubs get on the board first. The Pirates have always just been a thorn in the Cubs' ass, no matter how good or bad they are. And I think that was Wisdom that got, or Hap that got the intentional walk, and Frank the Tank makes him pay for it. Contreras comes around to score. Cubbies up 2-0, first inning. Now this is the day after the 21-0 drubbing the Cubs administered yesterday. This is where still things started to just kind of fall apart for him there. I don't know any of the names of these pirates like anymore. Like this is seemingly like just a very strong AAA team that have been mightily handling the Cubs over the past few days. You know, the Cubs are my prediction of the Cubs has been kind of correct in that I always knew that we would see some signs of competitive baseball would not be uh, they weren't going to be consistent with it, and they're not. You know, you see flashes of it against Tampa, one of the top teams in the league. Uh, Flashes of it. I mean, I don't care who you're playing. You know, you put 21 on the board against anybody. That's some monster hitting right there. And I think 4 or 5 of those runs courtesy of Mr. Alfonso Rivas. Who's that guy? I don't know. But as you see Pittsburgh come back in the third, put 3 on the board to take the lead. Contreras sends a shot in the shallow right field, trying to get something going for his team. Hat straight up the middle into the double play. You go to the top of the fourth. That funky hop, damn near in the same spot. Oh, looked like the White Sox defense there. I'm not sure who that was on the air. Was that Horn Jonathan Villar? VR, Villar. I call him Villar. Swindle unable to get the handle on that one. Proved to be costly. Go to the bottom of the fifth. Nick Magical. And the Cubs just eventually start running out of time. Unable to put any more runs on the board. Go to the bottom of the eighth. Ian Happ sends one deep left center. Puts one more on the board, but just still one less than what was needed to at least send it in extra innings. Frankie Schwindel unable to make anything happen. Cubbies drop it to the Pirates 4-3. The Cubs should definitely be better than the Pirates. However, Cubs sitting at 7-9, under 500, but again, playing competitive baseball. And I think you're going to see that throughout the season with this Cubs team. Signs of life, but not enough to consistently put any like major runs together or anything like that. But the Cubs are doing what they're supposed to do. You know, Jed Hoyer. Let's talk about Seiya Suzuki. Started out the season batting sixth, now in the two hole, deservingly. He's been hitting the hell out of the ball. He's got speed. around the bags. I think the Cubs got it right on Seiya Suzuki. Um, Another major signing during the offseason was Marcus Stroman. Had a rough outing the other day against Tampa, but overall, I think they're doing a decent job of not rebuilding, but maybe kind of reformatting and recalculating and readjusting and stuff like that. So one thing I want to do, I'm going to open it up for anybody who decides they want to, anybody want to jump in here and talk White Sox or Cubs baseball. I'm going to take 30 seconds for a break here, and we'll be back. This is Amelia Bucks with Plunk. All right, and we're right back. So, looking ahead, the Sox with a much needed day off tomorrow to get their heads out of to get their heads right. I don't know where their heads are. Their heads seem like right now that they are in a very tight, dark, stinky place. Probably hot in there too. They need to remove their heads from that. Looking ahead, besides that day off, some home cooking. I mean, we need it because it's about to get hairy again. Uh, got Kansas City coming in. Now, Kansas City, I think, lost their last three or something like that. But again, at this point, everybody, the Sox are the hunted. Everybody is playing them, especially in the AL Central, is playing them harder than ever. They are not going to run away with this division like they did last year. So they need to know that. And us as fans need to understand that too. You know, and this is what is so concerning is it's not just that they're losing and going back to where we were at this point last year with the record. Like, it's the way in which we're losing. Thanks, Deb, for correcting me. Kansas City lost their last four games. So that could mean one of two things, that they continue to slide or that they're hungry and they're deciding they're going to take advantage of a reeling White Sox team. Let's hope it's the former, that they keep that losing energy, and that the Sox are able to turn around. We got 3 at home against Kansas City, uh, followed up by looks like how many, and 4. We got Anaheim coming in. We got Joe Madden and Anaheim coming in, or the LA of Anaheim, or whatever the hell they're called, um, coming in, and that's a tough team. They're always a tough team, and they always play the Sox tough. So uh, the Sox had better figured out a way to eat at least against KC, because it's not going to get any easier. They got Anaheim coming in, and they got they got to head up north for a 2 game set against the Cubs. I mean, again, Cubs playing some competitive baseball, so like that's not a gimme whatsoever. And the Cubs would like nothing more than to tag a couple of L's on that White Sox record. Then we got to head out east to Boston. So none of this is getting any easier. It's only going to get harder, and with the injuries, you know, it's got to be that next man up mentality that we had last year. Again, like I said this earlier in the season, like I don't think ultimately that, and I hope not, that Kenny Williams is done with this roster. Like right now, I think they kind of they're letting some things settle from the whole lockout and whatnot, and hopefully some movement will happen. Some teams that are hoping to do some things that will realize they're not will start moving some players, and hopefully we can address, because right now I'm still concerned about that second base. Like last time when I was talking to Kristen, my issue was not right field at all. My issue was second base, and it continued. And this is before Leary was hitting 0.98 on the season. I was concerned even before then. And this is before even Josh Harrison spent 2 stints on the injured list. So uh, looking at what's coming up as far as the injuries, got AJ Pollard back. Joe Kelly is starting to throw again, but I imagine he's going to be doing a AAA assignment before we see any signs of him. The Sox bullpen has been very solid. Considering we lost Garrett Crochet for the year, and the great work going out and getting Kendall Graveman, because he's been a beast so far for us, and guys like Reyes, like guys have stepped up for the bullpen, but the hitting and the position players, it's these are everyday guys, and when your everyday guys are kind of phoning it in, like I'm kind of seeing, players got to play. I get that, but you tend to look at coaching, like in football when the team is jumping off sides all of the time and whatnot, and stupid penalties, stuff like that. And with all of these errors, it's a lack of discipline. This team is lacking some discipline. The same thing that we all feared Tony would bring too much of last year. I think we are not getting enough discipline out of Tony. And I don't think that that's normally Tony's style, but Tony's 163 years old. There's only so much he could do with these young hotheads. Um, Tim about to serve a 1 game suspension at some point this year, like for flipping a fan off. Like And I love Timmy. I love his energy. But like right now, anything that hurts the team is just magnified right now. You know. So I hope he can kind of keep it together because we need him. You know, like, and every game is going to count. Every game is going to count for way more this year than it did last year. We are not going to win this division by 8, 9, 10 games this year. And the Sox have struggled historically when it comes to a race, an end of season race. Although they ended up in one in '05 and one and all of that, but we hope it doesn't get to that. It's still cold outside, so the hitting will get better, especially in U.S. Cellular Comiskey Rate Field Park. Balls are going to start flying out of there a little bit better, but for the opposition as well. But with this White Sox pitching, you know, I'm not worried about that. We've still got Lance Lynn, who has also started throwing, but only throwing on level surface, has not begun throwing coming down off of the mound yet. So he's quite a bit of ways away. Luis Robert, I believe, is something like day to day. He should be back soon. And obviously, the big one, Eloy, we should know more probably by tomorrow or Tuesday once they get back in town and they get the MRI on that leg. And let's just hope there's no tearing or anything like that. And hopefully, that 6 to 8 weeks is, I mean, it's optimistic is what it is right now, but hopefully we find out that that's realistic. You know, so hey, it is what it is. Week two is what is it? Week two, week three, whatever it is. Hell, I don't know. It's in the books. Um, got a lot of baseball to play. Summer's not even here yet. But hey, Southside till I die. White Sox all the way. Much love to the North Side boys as usual. Cubs, they'll get it together. Maybe one day we'll have it together at the same time. Shout out to Deb, always our number one fan on Plunk. Shout out to Deb and her Mets. The Mets are smoking right now, and man, if they can stay healthy, they're going to do some damage. And we're seeing because I don't know, like Atlanta's got a bit of a World Series hangover or something. They're struggling right now as well. So we'll see what happens there. Don't jinx it. I'm sorry. I won't jinx it. I swear. I'm not gonna jinx anything. I'm not gonna call for. What I'm not gonna do is call for a White Sox and Mets World Series. Just take it easy. Take it easy. We'll take it easy. All right. And so, with that being said, been a great show. Thank you. Thank you for everybody for tuning in. Thank you all for all of the comments, all of the support. Can't wait till Kristen gets back. Uh, I do like to talk, you know. I had a lot to say. I had a lot of anger, so I was able to carry the show by myself today because I was so pissed off. So, but hopefully, and I'm gonna hang in there. I'm gonna hang in there like that little kitten that's always that old school poster from the '80s. We're gonna hang in there. And once again, this is Plump. This is the show where we celebrate two teams, one city. That city is Chicago, the city by the lake. And we're going to sign off for now. And we'll see you all next week. And be on the lookout for our next installment of Stadium Eats. The next installment will be featuring Pancho Pistolas on 31st Street near Sox Park. And I hear they got like like almost a 2 foot long burrito or something. I like burritos, so we're gonna see what that does. All right, this is Plunk, Emilio Bucks. Peace.